Hello everyone, my name is Tkalva2. I am the community manager of PrisonRP. Currently, today we'll be going over the basics. We'll be learning about how a trial moderator and moderator do their job, and that's what MaxBoss will be talking about. We'll be talking about the basics of staff and what you should be doing. Alright, first off, once you have received trial moderator and you are new to the server and you're like, hey, I got trial mod. The first thing you should do is notify a trainer that you are ready to be trained. You must be trained or watching this video in order to become a good staff member. Alright, into the staff basics. So once you receive trial moderator, you may not know clip at all off duty. You must be on the job in the F4 menu, which is trial moderator. You might either be demoted or suspended from one of us high staff, me, or a senior and above, if you pertain to continue doing it, or we catch you. So I do not recommend that you fly off duty. Alright, next up. Do not take other people's sits. So if, let's say, you want to go help another trial mod with a sit, do not do that please. There only needs to be one trial mod per sit, and then if there pertains to be more, then you will be punished. Alright. Next up, do not fly into players' RP bases. If you fly into a player's RP base, you will be punished for it because it is not allowed. The player might get angered at you, and if they figure out that you did it, then you will probably get in a load of trouble. A very good significant thing that trial moderators have is their fist gun. You can pick up players that are lower rank than you, but I do not recommend that you should do it. It is not something that is asked of. You only use it if, say, there's a mass RDMer on the server and you want him to stop. Next up, and the person recording this, please respect your higher ups. Even if you don't like them, just try your best to be nice to them, you know. Sometimes we do something bad, but at the end, we'll all be fine. Next up, we have punishments. The punishments are a very important thing for you. You'll be punishing a lot of players. It happens every single day. Everyone, or a lot of players get warrants each day. So first off, if you're warning someone, please use their Steam ID when you are going to warn them. To warn, you will do !warn, their Steam ID, and their reason. And we'll get to that later again also. If you have any problems with the commands, even after we've told you how to do them, you can do /help or you can do help in console. Next up, back to the higher up thing. Do not TP to higher ups unless you have permission. So if you were to TP to me while I was RPing or do something important, I would probably get a little mad at you. Alright, next up. Please do not share information about someone's demotion or suspension in Discord, as for it can result in a ban and your rank being removed because it's just a thing we do. And if you do it in staff channel or anywhere, and you're mocking them, criticizing the person that got suspended or demoted, and they come to us and report it, you will be suspended. Next up, these are a couple commands that you shouldn't use, and most of you shouldn't have access to, is !send, which sends a player to another, !slay, which kills a player, !armor, which is a command for armor, and !HP. None of those should be used in RP. A very important thing that you also shouldn't do is RP while you're on duty. If you RP on duty, you will receive a punishment. Printers, like while on a staff job or in God mode, will result in a punishment, suspension, or a warning. As for your TMODS, you have devoted your time to become staff. It says in our staff applications. Please do not, like, if you want to be TMOD, then be TMOD. But if you're going to not do anything and you are going to just sit around and do nothing, then we will probably demote you. You have a 30-day time period between when you get promoted or demoted. Two other things while you're on duty. Please do not kill players while you're on duty or build while you're on duty. Next up, we have claiming your own sit. If you claim a sit that is against you, saying you RDM someone, you're not allowed to take it. If you do that, it will result in probably a warning, and if not, maybe a suspension. Let someone else deal with it because you don't want to get yourself in trouble. All right, next up, we have the training rules. If you see a sit in the top left corner of your screen is where they will pop up when you're a new staff. It will say, let's say if it says higher up to me, do not take that sit. That is for a higher up. If they're asking for a higher up, then please let a higher up go. Also, a higher up is considered senior plus or admin plus if there's no seniors online. So if you take that sit that says admin plus, you will be punished. Next up, please be aware of your surroundings. So you're not supposed to RP, but you're supposed to watch the people that are RP. If they RDM someone and you can blatantly see it, don't wait for the person to make a sit. Just take the person, warn them for RDM, tell them not to do it again, and go on with the rest of your day. If you see someone massively killing each other, let's say friends killing each other or someone just going around and killing them, it is still considered RDM. Killing 3 people or more is considered mass RDM and can be seen as mass RDM and can result in the ban of the player. Since you're a team mod, you cannot ban, you can only warn and jail, which we don't use as much. Warning, you would just do !1, their Steam ID, and the reason why. Next up, we have respawning. You should never respawn a person unless they are having a problem. If they're not having a problem and you respawn them for no reason and they complain, you will be demoted. Also, just like this video that we are making, you must have a recording software just in case something does happen. Let's say somebody is hacking on the server. You want to make sure that you get that on record before getting rid of them. Because if they come to us and say, hey, I wasn't hacking and there was no proof, they will be unbanned. Next up, we have the forums. The forums are a place where you can, just look at all the stuff, see all the applications. You are allowed to go on the forums +1 or -1 or do whatever on somebody's application or a forum topic. Just please keep it respectful and do not go in there for no reason unless you need to. Well, no, but yeah. Next up, you may not be in God mode while off duty. That's a big thing that happens to players. Make sure if you have a bind for it that you turn off the bind whenever you are going to RP. Next up, for moderators, I will do the moderator talking. You can ban now. It's a pretty big thing. Make sure you are banning for an appropriate reason. in the MOTD, you can see the reasons for bans. And if you do not know what to ban for, then you can always go to a higher up and talk to them. If you do not need to ban someone, then you can just warn them as usual. And then also make sure that you are banning for an appropriate reason, because a lot of our staff are banning for no intent to RP, which is no intent to roleplay. They just ban someone for, let's say, not removing a sign within the time that the person said. We're trying to be more lenient on players and newer staff. And then also, we are trying to make sure that each player and individual does not think we are biased. Also, for moderators, you can also pick up TMODS and anyone below them. I do not recommend that you do it, or you might be resulted in a suspension for abuse of staff. Unless that staff member is abusing, you should not pick them up.
Hello, I'm MaxBoss, one of the admins here on PrisonRP, and today I'll be showing you, well, I'll be telling you what to warn for, and the punishments and all that stuff, really. So I just want to start off with this. When you are claiming a sit, always use the sit room, the sit rooms, because when you don't use them, and you start fizz gunning someone around, let's say, you know, someone's mass RDMing you or whatever, you basically become a beacon and everyone runs to you and they all start yelling and just, it's hectic. So you just bring them to the sit room. If you're off duty, you fly under the map. If you're on duty, it doesn't matter, you just go straight to them because you can no-clip on duty, but if you're off duty again, you have to no-clip under the map to go to the sit rooms. Which, yes, this means you can take sits off duty, but if you start taking sits, please go on duty. That would be appreciated. If you start taking multiple sits. So now we're going to go over the warnings that you should minister as a TMOD. The first one being an RDM warn. So, one RDM is considered a warning. Anything above that will be for moderators to handle. So basically, if someone does RDM times 2 or more, you ask a moderator or higher. The next warning would be attempt RDM times 1. That is also a warning. Well, yeah, it is a warning. And again, anything above attempt RDM times 1, so attempt RDM times 2, would be for moderators to handle because you do not have access to the kick or ban command. The next warning would be random arrest.
No.
Random arrest times 1 is a warn. Anything above that is for moderators. Right. So NLR. NLR on the server only applies to raids. So let's say you just you got assassinated in the courtyard and then you go back. That's not NLR. That's just going. You know, it doesn't matter. NLR is for raids. So let's say you're getting raided. And then you die. You cannot go back for, if I'm correct, it is 5 minutes. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
You cannot come back for 5 minutes, and if the attacker isn't finished raiding after 5 minutes, you can try and kill them once again. But it has to be 5 minutes or until he's done raiding. But NLR times 1 would be a warning, and again, anything above that is for moderators or higher to handle. Another thing about NLR, PD do not have NLR for PD raids. So, if a PD gets killed, comes back, someone reports them for NLR, they did not NLR, they're allowed to come back as many times as they want during the raid. So next warning is fail RP times 1. That is a warning. Now we have an exception here. One of the only things like this. Fail RP second offense is a warning or a kick. It depends on you, really, what you feel like that day. You can either ask a moderator to kick them, or you can warn them a second time. It really depends. And the commands are for warnings. Go like this. Exclamation point warn SID. So here, I'll bring a better example. I'll get my own SID right here. So basically you will, oh yeah, and yes, of course. So if you want to get someone's Steam ID, you can always find it either in the logs or in the tab menu. So if you know their name, you can go over to, let's say we're looking for my Steam ID, find the person, right click on their name, and you can do copy Steam ID and everything. Alright, so for the warning command, it is exclamation point warn, Steam ID, and then the reason. It goes like that. So you can also access the warn menu by doing either exclamation point warn or exclamation point warns. For moderators, you now have access to the kick and ban command. So again, we're going to use my Steam ID. Kick goes like this. Exclamation point kick, Steam ID, and then the reason again. Now banning goes like this. Exclamation point ban, the Steam ID of the person. Now let's say you're banning for LTAP. So that would be 6 hours. So you would put 6 and then hours. Now let's say you're banning for mass RDM. That would be 2 days because you do not have permission to ban for more than 2 days as a moderator. So you would put 2 and then days. So basically you have to you put in the number, the amount of time, and then you have to specify. Is it days, hours, minutes, seconds? We don't ban for minutes or seconds. You don't do that. There's no reason to do that. But basically here, let's do 2 days, and then the reason. Just like this. So the logs. Once you open them, you'll be brought to this page right here, all logs. This page isn't really useful because things happen every second, like you see, 39 seconds, 40 seconds. If you're looking for an RDM or an ARDM, it'll be very hard to find it because here, all we have is 2 precision. You can't find it there. If you're trying to find ARDM or RDM, you go into player combats. Now here, you can see all the player combats. On the left side, you have the instigator, the person who does the person who starts the combat, basically. And on the right side, you have the victim, the person who took the damage first. If you click on this combat, in this situation, the person did not die, they only took damage. It'll say right here, dead, for the victim or the instigator, depending on if someone died. And no one died here, so no one got a dead tag. Alright, so in the damage log, right here, we can see the victim died, and the instigator did not die, and he also did not take any damage, because he's responsible for 100% of the damage done. If he would have taken damage, you would have seen... So let's say this person attempted to kill this person did self-defense. You can tell this is not the case because there's no... this guy would be the instigator. So that's why this guy is. But you can also see this person not try to do self-defense because there's no... there would be a green bar indicating that he did a certain amount of damage. Another thing that I really like about this log specifically is if someone is inside a CO zone or in a KOS line and then they get shot or killed and then they make a sit about it and they say that I wasn't in there, you can do there's these two handy things right here. The event start and the event end. If you click to render, you can see exactly where the people were standing when the damage happened. Now I will show you how to take a sit. So basically, press F3, click on claim case, and then you would want to grab the person's Steam ID by looking at their name up here, find in the tab menu, copy Steam ID, and then in chat you would do !bring, and then paste in their Steam ID. Hello. So you were RDM'd?
Yeah, I was RDM'd by somebody named Tkalva2.
Alright, I'll check the log. So now you would go into the logs, click on player combats, and because this happened a little bit ago, we're going to use the search feature, quick search. So he says Tkalva killed him, so we can find Tkalva in here, apply the filter, and here we go, Tkalva. We can see that Tkalva is the instigator, so Soviet Robo did not do any damage. This was not a self-defense case. And we can also look at where he was. First of all, TK was not a PD member, so he was not enforcing any CO lines or anything. And on top of that, he wasn't in a CO line anyways.
Okay, and also, for in this case, usually if there's a higher up that is being reported and you are a TMOD, usually you would ask them in staff channel by using the @ symbol and then typing. You can ask them to come and explain what happened, and if they are proven guilty of what they did, they will be warned. If it's just a normal player, you can bring them and then warn the player if it is not false.
Yeah.
So in this case, if MaxBoss wanted to bring me, even though he can't, he'd do !bring Tkalva2 or the Steam ID. Please use Steam ID. So let's just say he brought me here, and I am accused of RDM.
So TK, why did you kill Soviet?
I didn't know you couldn't kill random players.
I see. So on here, you can't just kill random players. The situations where you can kill someone is if you were hit by them first, if they did damage to you, but I can see in the log that wasn't the case here. Since you didn't know this, I would imagine you haven't read the MOTD, so I would love it if you'd go and read the MOTD, please, and you'll be able to play on this. Well, you'll be able to continue playing. You can access the MOTD by doing !MOTD or /MOTD. I'll put it in the chat for you. And I would go and I would write it in the chat for them. But in this situation, it's TK, I don't need to do that.
And in another situation, if the player is just being all out annoying, not contributing or anything, not, working with you. So say I'm yelling at him like, put me back, you stupid TMOD, mod, or whatever rank you on. Keep it cool. It's just a thing you need to do. It's a very important thing. And then, so in that case, I'd probably still get warned for the same thing, and then I'd be returned afterwards.
Alright. And then TK would be warned, returned, and Soviet would also be returned. By doing... Alright, so... TK will be warned for RDM, and thank you for making a sit. Alright. The return command can be done like this. Return, and then there's Steam ID. Alright, thank you for watching this training video. So just remember to keep your cool at all times, and do your job, don't mess up. Make sure you frequently read the MOTD, because it changes a lot. So, just keep up. Don't lose your cool, and do your job properly. Welcome to the staff team.